On May 2nd, 2017, the Melville community was informed of the beginning of an initiative called the Melville Precinct Plan at a meeting held at 27 Boxes. The meeting was well attended, and the initial idea was to present the status quo of Melville at this time and to inform the community how to proceed in terms of the way forward. As often happens, this was considered to be an opportunity for many to voice their opinions on numerous issues which have been of concern to residents with regard to activities which happen in the immediate and surrounding areas. It was noted that of particular concern was the concept of densification. In some ways, this derailed the actual purpose of the meeting, but it did achieve its objective, being to invite the community at large to participate in the future planning for the area. Previously, the process was usually a plan presented to the community for their approval. More often than not, the concept of approval was considered to be a token effort on the part of the authorities to forge ahead with what they thought was best for the community. However, the Melville Precinct Plan 2017 is a significantly different approach, as the appointed project players have asked for the community to participate in a series of workshops in order to allow significant and meaningful input, which will help formulate the overall plan with regards to the community. This is a major shift in attitude on the part of the authorities and an initiative to be welcomed. At the second meeting, held in 7th Street, the ball started rolling, and after an interaction between the project leaders and the community, a number of issues were identified. Community members broke up into smaller groups and started working on refining these issues. This process was then expanded into the social media domain, with people being asked to contribute their ideas based on the broad groupings envisaged at the second meeting. Some follow-up work was done in this respect, and at the third meeting, the actual beginning of workshops, people started discussing and finalizing their specific issues. This third meeting, I felt, has been the most constructive meeting to date, and what I found interesting was how the meeting developed in its own organic way. People with specific interests gathered at their chosen group, and much lively discussion was in evidence. Each group was then given the opportunity to present their findings to the assembled community, and additional comments were added to the mix.
Living in that area, he says the wind comes from the bottom and all the rubbish that's in that area gets blown into the Melville area. So we had some very nice words: encourage active, responsible usage, regeneration of that area. Right?
And I think this needs to be looked at as a whole, because invariably what happens, some streets carry a lot more traffic than others do. And if you're going to put calming measures or whatever you do in certain streets, this is going to create more traffic on other roads. So one needs to look at this as a whole.
Street lights came up as an issue, but that really is covered under our council issues WhatsApp group. So we also have a council issues. Our councillor Bridget Steer is very involved in helping us sort out issues with street lights. Residents report and she'll follow up based on the reference number.
Only one group asked for additional time, as they felt that they needed to consolidate their discussion after the event. This group will do their presentation at the beginning of the next meeting. It was pointed out that the results of this current meeting were also part of a work in progress, and there was time to add further proposals in the future.
Well, the process started out a bit bumpy, but as we go along, we're starting to get a lot more buy-in into the process, and also we're finding that people are starting to become a little bit more excited about what potentially Melville could be.
I can only speak as a resident. And the greatest concern residents have is that the residential amenity is going to be interfered with and further disrupted by developments which are introduced into the suburb. And we're trying to make sure that the residential amenity remains strong and undisrupted. Melville historically has lots of people who've engaged in illegal land use, and we're hoping that this process doesn't increase the risk that we presently face with regards to enforcement of land use issues. We'd like the suburb, most of us who live here who moved here because of what Melville is, not because of what Melville might become. And so we want to preserve as much as possible the character, the village-like character, the quiet suburb character that we enjoy here at the moment. And hopefully this process can recognize that and respect it. I appreciate the fact that we're being asked to make suggestions. Whether those suggestions are really going to be implemented in a final set of recommendations made to the city, and whether they'll be included in the final precinct plan. And when you look at the map with different colors for different areas as to what the city will be doing in future, I don't know. I wish I had more clarity, and I wish I felt more comfortable about it. At this stage, I'm working through that and making sure that whatever involvement we are given to participate in, that we do it as much as we can. That's all I can say right now.
So the process is very robust. It relies a lot on public engagement and the community coming and being really, really interactive in the process. It's one of the few processes that the city has tried where we go and solicit plans out of the community, and not the other way around, where we go with the solutions to the community. So it's new. It has a lot of challenges, but it's very, very worthwhile, especially because we've had in every interaction or every engagement that we've requested from the community, they've been very willing to engage. So it's interesting, it's exciting, has some challenges, but it's very worthwhile.
So in looking at this as a process, it is a significant shift in mindset with regards to urban planning and one to be welcomed by stakeholders. Let's see how the process moves forward and how this new cooperative attitude on the part of the city plays itself out.